Alright, so the first step we want to do is we want to come to our Google URL up here, and I'm going to type in asknickfoy.com/siteground. Alright, I'm going to hit enter. Siteground is the company I use for hosting. It's who I recommend as well. They have very fast website hosting, so my websites always load really fast, and they have a lot of great resources, and their customer support is excellent. Whenever I have a problem, I call Siteground, and their technicians can figure out errors on my website and get them fixed for me. So when you type that in, it's going to bring you to this home page here that looks something like this. We've got Siteground. Right now they're running a Cyber Monday sale as we're filming this at the end of 2020 here. So you can get 75% off. When you use that code asknickfoy.com/siteground, that is my affiliate link. That'll also get you a discount on your hosting so that you can get it down to about $349 a month. So what you're going to do is you're going to come here to web hosting. You're going to click this orange get started button, and it's going to bring you to the plan page where you can see the different options that they have. The big difference here, you can start $349 a month with just one website. If you've got lots of websites you plan on starting, you might want the Grow Big plan for $5.99 a month, and that's going to get you unlimited websites. You're also going to notice the regular payment amount is going to be $15 a month versus $25 a month. So it's $10 cheaper if you're doing just the one website versus unlimited. Now this is the price that it's going to renew at. So you're going to start off paying the initial promo price of $5.99 a month for however long you sign up for. Once your sign up period is done and you have to come up to a renewal, you're going to start paying the regular price. So keep that in mind when you are checking out. But a couple other differences, it kind of gives you an idea of how much space your website's going to need and take up. So you get about 10,000 monthly visitors on the startup plan, and you get up to 25,000 on the Grow Big plan. So for most new websites, you're going to be fine on the startup plan. 10,000 visits a month is going to be plenty for you and initially while you're getting started that first year, maybe the first couple years. As you start to grow, you might need to get to that Grow Big or Grow Geek plan. All right, you're going to get a free email, free SSL, free CDN. We'll get more into that later. But right now, we're just going to go ahead and select our Get Started Startup plan here for $349 a month. All right, once we select our plan here, it's going to bring us to the plan details where we can select how long of a period we want. So they have different options. You can buy 1 month, you can buy 12 months, 24, 36 months. So if we buy, a 1-year subscription plan, you can see over here we're paying $349 a month, and so we're going to be billed $41.88. All right, so we'll go ahead down here and we'll go ahead and put in our credit card information. I've already got mine entered in as I've, a repeat customer with Siteground, but you'll have to punch yours in if you're new. Go ahead and click I confirm that I've read the agreement, and go ahead and click the orange Pay Now button. All right, once you have your account created, you've purchased hosting, all you got to do is go to my.siteground.com or just type in siteground.com. It'll redirect you to this page anytime, and then you're going to want to click on the log in, and you'll log into your Siteground account. Once you are logged into Siteground, you're going to go here to the Websites tab. Then on the Website tab, you are going to select cPanel. Now inside your cPanel, you're going to find a bunch of different apps that you can click on here. We want to go on to the one that says Add On Domains. This is where we're going to add our domain to our hosting account. So if you bought a domain on GoDaddy or Namecheap, you're going to want to type your domain name in there, and then it's going to spit out a password for you, and it's going to create a database for you for that domain name. So type our domain name in. So we could just type in like asknickfoy.com. Then we could put our own password in here or use the password generator. Then we're just going to click on Add Domain, and it's going to go ahead and set up a database for us, a username and a login for that database. And once we've added that domain, the next thing we've got to do is go into our domain account where we purchased it. So like GoDaddy, and you're going to need to set your DNS settings to point to your hosting account. So how to find your DNS settings? Well, next we want to go to the cPanel home button again. And if we look over here in the account information box, you're going to see this line here called name servers. And it's going to give you two different lines of code here that are your name server addresses. So these are the addresses that you're going to copy paste into your DNS settings over on your domain provider. So again, if you look up the GoDaddy support articles, they'll show you how to go into your GoDaddy account, click on your domain and enter the DNS settings where you can copy paste over these servers. If you're using a different domain service like Namecheap or HostGator, you can find their support articles online that'll teach you how to copy paste over this code as well. But for most of the times, you just log into your account, you click on your domain, and you find the settings, and you should be able to find custom DNS servers or DNS servers somewhere nearby that you can click on, and it'll pop up 2 boxes for you to type in these 2 different address lines. All right, once you've done that, we want to scroll down here to the WordPress installer under WordPress tools and click on that app. Now, when we click on that app, it's going to bring us in here to this WordPress page. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and choose our domain that we want to install WordPress to. So in this case, if I was installing it to asknickfoy.com, I would have that selected, and I go with the HTTPS protocol. Again, we get a free SSL certificate, which is going to allow our website to run on HTTPS, which is a secure website URL protocol, and that helps keep data secure if people are going to be using credit cards on your website. Next, we've got site settings. You can give your website a name and a site description if you want, and then it's going to automatically populate an admin username and password for you. So we can go ahead and delete these out, and you can customize your own username and password that you're going to use to log into your WordPress account. So go ahead and fill out your username, fill out your password that you want to use, write that down and save it somewhere on your computer or in person on paper. You can choose your admin email where you get alerts emailed to you, and then we're going to choose our language that we want our website to be in. Once we've done that, we have a few other options here. We can have Siteground initially install some different plugins for us on our website. I'm going to show you more about plugins shortly, but I like to keep the classic WordPress editor. And then we've got the WordPress starter plugin that they can install for you as well if you want to get started, kind of following the tips of the starter program. But I'm going to go ahead and uncheck it because I personally do not need the WordPress starter plugin installed on the website. Next, we're just going to hit install, and it's going to begin installing WordPress to the domain above that we selected, asknickfoy.com. When it's done installing, it's going to spit out a URL link that looks like this, https asknickfoy.com/wp-admin. So this little portion of the URL right here that comes after my domain name is important to type in anytime you want to get to your login page of your WordPress. So save this URL, your website.com, and then enter wp-admin after it. And what it's going to do is it's going to bring you here to this login page on WordPress where we can enter our username and password. I also recommend hitting the Remember Me button so that it will save your information, so next time you come to this page, it'll automatically be pre-filled in for you, and all you have to do is hit the Login button. Alright guys, so I've just logged into my WordPress dashboard. That is step number 1 to get started building a custom page with the Elementor theme. So if you're brand new to WordPress, you're just starting your website, you're going to have no plugins and no theme installed yet on your website. So the first step is going to be to go to the Appearance tab. We're going to open up Themes here in the drop-down menu. Alright, it's going to come into this Manage Themes where you can see default themes that are already installed. You're going to have the 2020 or the 21 theme already installed. I've already installed Avada and Hello Elementor. So to add a theme, we just come here to Add New Theme. Click on the plus icon. It's going to open up the themes page where you can see all these different themes here on WordPress that you can add. So we're going to go ahead and type in the search. We're going to type in Elementor. This is the one I would recommend that you install, the Hello Elementor theme. That is actually built and created by the Elementor team to go with their plugin, the Elementor Page Builder. So you can install and activate that by clicking the blue Activate button. Then when you need to change themes, if you decide you want to go with another theme, you just come into your Appearance under Themes here, and you can see all your different themes you've installed, and you can navigate over here and click Activate on any of these other themes. The one that is currently active will show up first, so I currently have the Avada theme active on my website. So what's the difference between all these different themes? Well, since we're going to be building a custom page from scratch using the Elementor Page Builder, just to give you a preview, it's a blank template, so it doesn't really matter what theme you have. However, themes do come into play with things like fonts. They have different font styles that come by default, so your headers, your heading 1, heading 2, your body text, your footer text, all might have different font sizes and colors and types of fonts based on the theme settings, the master theme settings that come with that theme. Another thing is your headers and footers might be different from theme to theme. But if you want to just kind of work from a blank slate and kind of customize everything yourself, I would recommend going with that Hello Elementor theme. So for right now, I'm just going to leave my Avada theme on by default. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to install the Elementor plugin. So come here under plugins, come here to add new, click on that. It's going to pull open the add plugin page here, where we can see a list of plugins that are populating under the featured tab. We're going to go over here to the search bar though and type in Elementor. Now when that loads up, we're going to see Elementor come up first. So we're going to go ahead and install this plugin by clicking the Install Now button. Next door, we're going to see the Essential Add-ons for Elementor plugin. We also want to install this plugin and activate it. So now both of these plugins should be installed and activated. So what this does is it adds on a bunch of additional bonus elements that don't come by default with the Elementor plugin. The Elementor plugin has a pro version you have to pay for to get access to extra widgets and elements, but you get a lot of those with these free plugins like the Essential Add-ons for Elementor. So once we have these two installed and activated, next we're going to go ahead and create our first page. So we need to come here under Pages and go to Add New. So we're going to let that populate up into a new tab here. I'm going to click over to it. We've got Add New Page. We want to give our page a title, so we might type in something like Bradford Shores. And then sometimes I like to go ahead and click on the Publish button to go ahead and get it saved. Once you have that page ready to go, it's saved, it's live, we go ahead and click on the Edit with Elementor button here. Alright, as soon as the page loads, when you click the Elementor button, you're going to see a blank slate like this. If you don't have a blank page like this, if you're seeing a header or a footer, all you got to do is come down here to the little settings gear icon in the bottom corner, and you want to go to page layout and make sure it is selected to Elementor canvas. So go to Elementor canvas. It's now going to give you a blank canvas to work with, so you have no menu bar, no footer, nothing on the page to distract your design. So we're going to build this page out from complete scratch. Alright, so let's look over here on the dashboard. So we can see right now the title of the page, Bradford Shores. This is like a neighborhood name I'm using for a real estate page I might create for a subdivision in my market. If I'm a real estate agent and I'm trying to create different neighborhood pages to market to try to get home buyers, home sellers. So that's why I chose that name, Bradford Shores. I'm going to design this page regarding real estate. I'm going to include some drone videos. I'm going to include photos and then a bunch of text to teach you about the neighborhood. Now it's published here. We can turn it back into a draft if we wanted to, but I go ahead and just leave it live. Nobody's going to see it right now anyways until I put it out on my menu or on my home page somewhere. So it's okay to be published. Other than that, we don't need to worry about anything here. Now the hamburger bar up here with the 3 drop downs, you can click on and see some general global settings. So we can see site settings here, user preferences if we need to change any of those. But mainly we're going to be clicking on this little grid up here in the right corner of the Elementor bar. Anytime you click on this grid, it opens up all your different element options here. So we can see our basic elements that come with this plugin. We can also see our pro options if we buy the pro version. Now we installed the Essential Add-ons plugin, so those are going to populate as well into this page builder. Alright, so now I refresh the page after installing that Essential Add-ons plugin. We can scroll down here and we can see it's added on a section here called Essential Add-ons. So by default we can click on it, it'll open it up, and we can see all these additional elements that now we have options to use by installing that free plugin. Alright, so let's go back up here to just the basic elements. We've got our image, our video, our button, our text box, and our heading box. So these are going to be 5 major elements that you use quite often. You might also use the spacer or the divider to give some space to your page, but we're going to show you more how to do that in a little bit. So the first step we want to do is start getting familiar with sections. Sections are a way to break up your page. So we're going to go ahead and click on this little plus icon here, and it's going to ask us to select our structure. So just imagine your page for a second. Right now, if we did the single section right here, it's just going to span the entire page. Now if I wanted to break my page into 2 half columns, we could choose this one. If we want to split it into thirds, fourths, or we can shift it so that you have the majority of your page to the left and a little bit of a break on the right, so maybe a sidebar of content. So they have lots of different page structures to choose from. Let's go ahead and just start off doing a general single structure. All right, so that's going to populate this little box up here. And right now it's got nothing in it other than a full width column, so we can edit our column, which is embedded inside of the section. To edit the section settings, you can click on this little blue tab here, and once you click on that, it's going to tell you about right-clicking on it. So we're going to right-click on it, and you can click on Edit Section, and then it's going to bring up the settings for your edit section right over here. So we can choose our layout style, how wide we want the section to be, our height, column gaps. We can go into styling, where we can add a background to this section. We can do a background overlay. We can customize the fonts for the typography. We can go into the advanced and mess around with the spacing, so we can mess with the margins and the padding as well. So we're going to get more into that in a little bit. Just want to kind of give you a general layout of the Elementor plugin. So every single element you go into is going to have 3 tabs here. The first one usually is the layout tab. The second one's usually the style tab, and then the advanced tab. So you can do this with sections, columns, and elements. You're going to see all 3 of these tabs no matter which thing you're clicking on. And they're going to have different settings under each one that you can customize around your section, your column, or your element. All right, so right now, first thing we want to do is go ahead and add a text box. So we're going to click on this little plus symbol here. Again, I could also click on the grid, and it'll bring me back to this page with all the different elements. So I'm going to click on the text editor. You could also use the heading if you're trying to start off your page with a heading. All right, so I'll go ahead and use heading just as an example. So we'll drop our heading in there. We'll call this Bradford Shores. And then what we're going to do is we're going to center it. So down here under the alignment, we can click on center. So again, we've got those 3 different tabs here. This time it's called content, and then we also have style and advanced. So content is where we typed in our title, Bradford Shores. If we wanted to link it to something, we could paste a link in there. So anytime somebody clicks on this text, it could link them somewhere. We've got different HTML tags, like the H2 tag by default is what we're going to use for this heading. And then we have centered aligned it. So now to change the font so that it's not blue, or so that we can make it bigger, we're going to go under the styling tab. We're going to go to text color, and I'm actually just going to make this black. So I'm going to grab the little cursor here, drag it down to black, and then I'm going to click out. Next, I'm going to go into typography here, and we're going to mess with the size. So we can grab on the little size bar here and just pull it, making it bigger and bigger and bigger. So we'll go ahead and make this 68. Now, if we want to change the thickness, we can go down here to weight. It's already set at 600. I'll go ahead and set it at 700. We can do other things like transform it to uppercase or lowercase only. Styling, we can set, whether we want italic or oblique. If we want decoration, we can underline it, overline it, put a line through it. We can change the line height, the letter spacing, so that you have a lot of different options here, as well as the font family. Right now we're going to leave it as Roboto. Alright, so I've got a heading here called Bradford Shores. Next, I'm going to go ahead and add a little content box underneath Bradford Shores to start describing the neighborhood. So we'll go ahead and put another text box in here. It's going to throw in some default text here. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is just kind of paste in some pre-written text to make this go faster. So I want to go ahead and put the neighborhood location. Again, we're going to go back under style this time in the text editor, as that's where the alignment can be found. So we'll go ahead and align this so it's centered up. And then we'll go ahead and again and change the text color. I want to make it black to match the heading. Alright, and then size-wise, we're going to go ahead and leave it the default size that it is. I believe it's a 12 font right now. Now, one thing you'll notice is there's some pretty big gaps here between our title and our text box. So there's a couple ways we can shrink the spacing between these two elements. The first is that we can go into the column settings. So inside the column settings here, we have column width percentage. We have vertical align, horizontal align, and then widget space. Now widget space is by default 20 pixels. So we can go ahead and just click the up arrow once and we can take it to 0, and that'll shrink some of that space by default. So now these two elements are sitting right on top of each other. There's no space between them. As we increase, you're going to notice that there's now a gap or a little more space between those elements. So that's the first way we can shrink some of the space between them. The other way is to go into the element tab itself, go into the little pencil icon to edit that heading. we can go over here to advanced and we can play around with the margin and the padding. So for example, any padding on the bottom of this element we can reduce. So I can take this, we're going to want to click the little paperclip link item there because it'll get rid of linking everything together, so we can only make changes to the bottom only. When it's linked together, if you hit the up arrow, it changes everything to 1. So we want to just do the bottom only, so we're going to select that so that it turns white. Now we're going to go back here to the bottom and we're going to go ahead and start making it negative. So as you notice, nothing's really changing there, so that doesn't have any effect. So we'll go ahead and put it back to 0 and just leave it alone for now. So let's go down here to our other text box. Let's go to the advanced tab. We'll go here this time to the margins and we'll go to the top and we'll start reducing the top margin. So as we make this negative, we took 10 pixels away from the top margin. That shrunk our neighborhood text box up higher on the page so that it reduced some of that space between Bradford Shores. Now you got to be careful going negative here sometimes because you got to see how this will turn out on mobile. So one of the first tips is to always check things that you do on desktop mode, how they turn out on mobile. You can go ahead and wait and just mess with those settings later on if you want. You can optimize the page first for desktop users that are on computers. Later you can go back, turn on mobile mode and start making any font changes, spacing changes to make things look right on mobile. Or you can do it all at the same time. So if you're going to do it at the same time, you come down here to responsive mode, this little computer icon. Right now that is currently set to desktop. So we're going to go here to mobile and now it's going to bring up a mobile phone to show you what it's going to look like on the mobile phone. So again, our spacing looks okay. We didn't mess anything up. But what I might do on mobile is change some of these font sizes. I might shrink Bradford Shores down to a little smaller font on mobile so it doesn't look so bulky. And I might shrink this down a little bit more to try to get it to all fit on one line. But we're going to optimize mobile later. So let's go ahead and go back to desktop. So we've got our heading, Bradford Shores. We've got our title underneath, or the neighborhood location in South Bend, Indiana. So next what I want to do is go back to our element grid here by clicking on the little grid again. We're going to go ahead and grab another text box and we're going to drop it in now underneath the previous text box. Alright, so same thing, you're going to type out a little bio about the neighborhood or about your page depending on what you're putting in the text box. So I'm just going to go ahead and paste in some information I've already written about the subdivision. Now I do want to go back to the style again and change our text color back to the all black. Next we're going to go to typography and play around with the sizing again, so we can drag our little size bar here. Alright, we're going to go ahead and center align everything. So we've adjusted the color, we've adjusted our center alignment and our size. Next I'm going to go back to the advanced tab again. We're going to go back to margin and I'm going to pull some of that top margin away to get some of that space gone. Alright, so this is our first section that we've created. We've got the big section box, and then inside it is a column box that is full width, single column, and then inside that we've added 3 different text boxes where we typed in the neighborhood name, the location, and a bio about the neighborhood. So now I want to go ahead and create a new section. I could obviously keep going and adding more elements that I want to be part of this 1x1 column that's full width, but we're going to go ahead and just create a new one. So I'm just going to grab a new section here. Next I'm going to go back to my grid of elements. Alright, and now I'm going to scroll down and look for the counter element. So if we go here under general, we've got this one right here called counter. So I'm going to go ahead and drop it in. And then I want to go ahead and add 2 more columns. So I'm going to go ahead and just click duplicate. And I'm going to click duplicate once more. Alright, so this adds a little cool counting effect to it. So we'll go back here to the first element box. And what we're going to do is I'm going to give this a name. So right here where it's got title, cool number, we're going to call this homes. And this is going to count how many homes are in the subdivision. So in Bradford Shores there are 163 homes. So I'm going to type 163 in, and now we're going to have the counting effect go up to 163. If we want to start any numbers at a certain number, we can do that there, but we're just going to let it start from 0. You can also do the countdown effect, so you can start it at 163 and let it count down to 0 as your ending number if you wanted to switch those. If we want to put a comma separator or a 1,000 separator, we can make sure that's showing as well. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and click into the next one. We're going to call this average price, and then we're going to go ahead and put in here the number 500,000. Alright, to get the money symbol, we can come here to number prefix and we can just punch in a number symbol. And now that's going to give us the $500,000 amount. And then lastly, I'm going to click on this final counter box, and I'm going to use this to display what zip code this neighborhood is. So we'll go ahead and just type zip code in, and then we'll come back here to the number and we'll type in 46628. And this time we're going to get rid of the 1000 separator, so it just displays the zip code. Alright, so that's our counter effects section that we created. So now we have Bradford Shores, location, a bio, and then they can see these little counter animations that'll catch their eye when they hit the page. And that's going to show them how many homes are in the subdivision, what the average price is, and then the zip code. Okay, so next we're going to go ahead and create a new section. So I'm going to click another 1x1 section here. I'm going to go back to the Elements tab, and this time I'm going to drop a video in. So now we've got a full width screen video. So if this video is too big for you, if you don't like how it feels, how big it is, it takes up too much of the screen space, we can actually shrink it down by creating additional columns. So I can come back here to edit column, right click, and we can click add new column. And then I could do it once more, add new column, and I can go ahead and move this one over to the middle. Alright, so now we've got the video in between two other columns. These are like spacers, so right now it's broken up into a third, a third, a third. Now we can change the column size by just clicking on this little column symbol right here. It brings up the settings for this edit column page. So column width %, we can just click on the up arrow and it'll start it back down at 0, and we can go out from there. So I might go to 10, and then same on this side, I might start it at 10. Alright, so you can take a look at how that looks. Shrinking the video down a little bit, it looks a little bit better instead of big and bulky and taking up most of the screen. Now you might like it taking up most of the screen, but for me, I think I like it here with the the 10 spaced columns on each side, so that this is only 80%. So it shrunk it down a little bit. Now if I wanted to, I could go a little bit more even. I could try, let's say 15. So again, we'll just click on the edit settings for each of those columns and set the column width % to 15. Alright, so that looks a little bit better. Alright, next we want to add a new section. I'm going to grab a double column section here. And then we're going to stick in buttons. So we're going to go back to the grid here, find our button element. I'm going to drag and drop it in. Now I'm going to go ahead and create the first button, and then I'm just going to duplicate those settings so that I only have to make a few changes to it. So the first thing we're going to do is check the text. I want this to say recent sales data, and then I want to come down here to the size, and we want to make it large. Let's go medium. Now under alignment, we're going to go ahead and click on justified. That's going to make it full width for that column. Then we can go here into style. We can change the font if we needed to. We can change the background color if we needed to. I'm going to leave everything else as is. Now again, I'm just going to go ahead and right click on the element and click duplicate to create another one. Then I'm going to highlight or grab that button and drag it over. And then we're going to go into the little pencil icon, and this time I'm actually going to change the color of this one. We're going to make it black. So we've got a green button and a black button. And then we need to change the text on it. So this time we're going to say contact Realtor Nick Foy. Alright, so there's my two buttons now that I've created underneath the video. I do want to give them a little bit of space. They look like they're hugging the video. So we're going to click on the section settings here. We're going to go under the advanced tab to where we can find our margins. And we're going to go ahead and uncheck the link so we're only adjusting the top margin. And I'm going to go ahead and just start upping the top margin until it gets to a comfortable maybe 30 pixels. Alright, so that gives a little bit of space so those buttons can breathe a little bit after the video. So this is a good start to the page. We've got Bradford Shores, the neighborhood location, a little bio about the neighborhood, some more quick facts about the neighborhood as counters that are animated. Then they could watch a video, and then if they want to click on these buttons to gather some more information, they can do so. So next we want to keep going. We want to keep adding more material to this web page. You could probably stop right here and call this a sufficient page. This serves its purpose, but we want to go ahead and keep giving them additional information. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new section again. This time I'm going to go ahead and copy my heading. So I want to duplicate that so I can just keep everything consistent. We're going to come down here and create a new heading tab. So grab this element, drag it all the way down into this new section box. This time we're going to make it an H3 tag instead of an H2 tag. So it's a little different style of heading. We're going to shrink it down a little bit so it's not such big font. That way we can tell the difference. We've got our big heading at the top. It's kind of like our title. And then down here we got like our subheadings that are a little bit smaller. So I might bump this one up actually to like a 54. Again, we'll go to the advanced tab, uncheck the link, and mess with the top margin a little bit. We'll give it maybe 20 pixels of space there so it can get a little breathing room away from those buttons. All right, next we want to go down here and choose an image. So I'm going to go ahead and drop an image box underneath there. Click on it. We're going to click on the choose image. I'm going to go ahead and select an image off my computer. All right, so I've imported the map from my computer of the subdivision. Go ahead and click insert media. It's going to pop in the map of Bradford Shores. So now people can look at all the different lots or the map plat of the subdivision. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and change the text now so it doesn't say Bradford Shores. We need to give this section its own title. So I'm going to call this the lot map, 32 new lots available. Again, we'll go back to the style tab here under typography, and we'll go ahead and shrink down the font a little bit. So we'll give this maybe a 44 font size. All right, then I'm going to come give a new section. Then I'm going to copy this heading again. So we're just going to click duplicate and drag that down here. And now we're going to come up with a new section. So I'm going to call this Bradford Shores What to Know. And then I need to give a little half by half underneath. All right, so in this first one, I'm going to go ahead and click an image. I want to do a entry wall picture for the subdivision. And then over here, I want to give a text box. And I'm going to go ahead and paste in a little bit of important information about the subdivision that somebody's going to need to know. So we'll come back to style again. I'm going to make the font turn black. Then we're going to go into typography again, and we're going to adjust the font size. And I'm going to put this at 12. Maybe we'll go 14. It looks a little small. All right, we'll try 16. Everything else looks good. So I'm going to come back to the grid. I'm going to grab a different text editor. Actually, this time, instead of grabbing a new text box, what we can do is we can actually just duplicate this again. It'll stick it right underneath. All right, and then I can just paste in my text that I have for that text box. So what's nearby? So I can talk about some of the different features that they have access to if they live in this subdivision. Now I do want to adjust the spacing between these two elements. So again, we go back to the column settings to the widget space, and I can delete some of that space out so that these widgets get a little tighter to each other. All right, so in the what to know section, we've got the school district information, letting them know what schools they would go to, the what's nearby. We also need to add a picture here, so I'm going to go to choose image. I'm going to go ahead and grab the map of the subdivision, insert media there. And then if we want to play around with the size, we can make sure we have a full size image here. And then we're going to need to play with the column widths if we wanted to make it any bigger. Okay, then we're going to create a new section. So I'm going to go ahead and click duplicate again. And I'm going to go ahead and add a new 1 by 1 down here. So I can grab this element that I just duplicated. That way all my headings are consistent. I don't have to keep adjusting the settings each time with a new heading element. I just copy the old ones and they're already set up the way you need them to, and all you have to do is change out the actual text. So this one's going to say directions to Bradford Shores. Okay, so once we've got the heading, we'll go back here to the grid. Well, first let's go ahead and add a 3-column setup here. I'm going to grab this one and make it 10 as its width. So under layout here, column width %, I change that to 10. I come here under the other one on the other side and change that to 10. And then that leaves the middle one 80% width. When you have 100%, subtract 10 and 10, you have 80% left here is the width of the middle column. So I want to go ahead and click on that middle column. I want to grab a text editor and drop it in there. Then as we edit this text again, I'm going to go ahead here to the style. We want to change that font back to black like we've been doing. And we'll go ahead and center that text as well. All right, so we'll come back here to the content tab under the text editor and we'll paste in the text here. So South Bend, Indiana subdivision is located off Ironwood Road, just south of Adams Road and north of Auten Road. So that gives them some directions. Now we want to take this a step further, and I want to add another 1 by 1 section here that's full width. And then as far as the element, I want to add a Google map. So we'll drag Google Maps in, Now it's got location box right here, so we're going to type in Bradford Shores and see what comes up. Alright, so it did not pull up the right neighborhood, so what we can do instead is type in one of the streets in the subdivision, so Bradford Boulevard South Bend, and that should now pull up the street that this subdivision is. Alright, so we can adjust the zoom. So right now we are on zoom level 10, and it shows you that we're kind of zoomed out to where we can see some of the surrounding cities like Elkhart. We can see all the way over here to like Lake Michigan, Michigan City, New Buffalo. So if you want to zoom in more than that, you can. I kind of like it zoomed out because somebody coming down here to the maps and they're going to be wondering, you know, where is Bradford Shores? Well, now they can get a sense, if they're familiar with South Bend, they can see that it's all the way up there on the north side of South Bend, almost at the state line between Indiana and Michigan. All right, if you want to zoom in, we could zoom in one more. So I took it up to an 11, and now it zooms in a little bit more on just specifically South Bend area. And we can see that it's up here in this kind of northeast corner of South Bend. We can keep going in closer and closer if you'd like, but I'm going to leave it zoomed out for now on that 10th level where we can start to see kind of a broad range of cities and give them an idea of where the subdivision's still at. Alright, the final section we're going to create to end off our page is a contact section. So again, we're going to give it a heading. So I'm going to go ahead and duplicate the previous heading. I'm going to drag it down here to the new section. We're going to click on it so we can pull up the content editor. See the text here. We're going to call this Contact Realtor Nick Foy. So that's going to be our 1x1 section. Then underneath that, I want to create two half sections. The first one's going to have my image in it. So we're going to put an image over here. And then underneath that, I'm actually going to go ahead and put my contact information. And then let's go ahead and add some social media share icons. So we can come back down here, find the social icons widget, pop those in as well. All right, for contact info, I'm just going to type in my phone number and my email address here. All right, so we've got that. We can go ahead back to the style tab. I can change the text color again. Now, one of the things I could have done initially was go into the global settings and change text color to black. Right now, I think it's set to gray, and that's causing me extra steps here to change every text box back to black. So we can find the global setting initially and set that up so that it is black, and then we don't have to adjust it. Same with our font and our font size. We can set some of those global settings ahead of time, and that'll save you some time in the editor, so you don't have to do some of these repetitive steps over and over. Now I'm going to go ahead and align this center, and then all I got to do now is find an image of myself to put in here. Okay, so we've got the image, we've got the phone number, the email, the social icons. We can click on the edit symbol, and we can go ahead and punch in our Facebook page, Twitter, YouTube. We can add additional items like Instagram or LinkedIn, and we can set up these social icons down here. And then lastly, over here in the other tab, I want to go ahead and add a shortcode widget. So we're going to come down here to General, under the General section here, and we're going to find this one called shortcode. So what this element will do is it's going to allow me to paste in a shortcode for a form. So I'm going to go ahead and set up a contact form, and then I can paste it in here, and it'll have the displaying next to my photo. So it'll ask for their name, their email address, their phone number, some more information about them, and then there'll be a submit button down here that they can click on, and that's how they can submit their information to me. Now, I actually don't like how big I am and how I'm taking up most of the screen, and you can barely see the other information down there. So I'm going to go ahead and add a new column to create a little spacer here. I might give this a spacing of, let's say, 11. And then my own column here, I'm going to take down to 39. So 11 plus 39 is 50. So these two together take up 50%, and then we still have a 50% column over here for my contact form. So all I'd have to do is pop in a contact form. So let me go ahead back here to my WordPress dashboard. We're going to go here into plugins, go to add new plugin, open up a new tab, and then all we have to do is search contact form, and you're going to see a bunch of different contact form plugins you can install. So if we wanted to do, let's say, contact form 7, Ninja Forms, Contact WP Forms. So there's a bunch. I have a paid plugin that I bought off ThemeForest that I like a lot. But I'm going to go ahead and just pick one of these free ones for you guys. So we'll go ahead and activate Contact Form 7. Alright, once you've activated it, it should come up here in your WordPress dashboard. So maybe here under Contact Forms, We can go ahead and click on contact form, see if we already have a template one that we've made before. Alright, so contact form. So here's the short code. Anytime you create a new form, it's going to put out a short code. So we're going to go ahead and just copy this and see what it looks like. This is one I made, it looks like at some point a few years back. So I'm going to come here into my short code box, paste it in, and we can see that now it pasted in your name, your email, subject, your message, and send. So now I'm not going to go ahead and edit this because I don't want to take any more of your time, but you can customize your contact form specific to your page. So I might put in like address so they can give me their address of the house they're trying to sell. Or if I'm helping them buy homes, I might ask, what locations, what price range, how many beds, how many baths, that sort of thing. So you can customize your contact form and then paste in the short code into the little short code element box that we added into this half column here. And overall, that is my page. So let's go ahead and click on preview changes down here, the little eyeball. It's going to open up a new tab so we can go out live and look at our page once it's all finished. So we start off with Bradford Shores, location South Bend. We've got our text box here that details about the home. Then we've got the numbers here, how many homes, price range, zip code. We've got the video, we've got the buttons, we've got the neighborhood map. We've also got the aerial of the neighborhood and some quick facts like what's nearby, school district, and then directions on a map, and then my photo and contact information down at the bottom. One more thing to note here is I forgot to add the YouTube video. So here I am on the Realtor Nick Foy, Northern Indiana YouTube page. I'm going to go ahead and click on the Bradford Shores video, turn volume off there, pause the video. We're going to grab the URL, copy it, go back over here to the web page, to the editor, click on the YouTube video element here, delete out the placeholder video, insert our video link. So I just pasted in our YouTube link, and boom, it pops up the Bradford Shores video that I made. So I'm going to go ahead and click on update. This is going to update this page. And now again, we already published our page, so this is a live page. But whenever you make changes, updates, your little preview changes tab will automatically refresh. So we can go back over here to our page, preview page, and it's already refreshed and we have the new video showing. Alright, so we can click on this video. We've got the audio turned off here, so you can just watch a little highlight video I put together using my drone of Bradford Shores. So I am a realtor part-time in addition to working on YouTube making these videos for you guys, as well as real estate investments that I do. So I did throw together this video for Bradford Shores. It's a real neighborhood. This is a real web page that I've created for my real estate business, and I wanted to show you guys an example of how to build your own page today using the Elementor theme. So overall, it's a pretty cool web page we put together today. That's just one example of how you could build it using this plugin. Now again, you just go back here to the grid and you've got all these different elements to choose from, but primarily we're using text box elements and then video elements and button elements. And occasionally we'll use some fancy things like the counter elements that count. And then down here we use the short code element so that we can embed a contact form into the page. And we also use the Google Maps element here so we could display a map of where something was located. So you're going to use a lot of the similar, same style of elements. You're going to get pretty familiar with how they work, how to use them. Again, all you got to do is click on the little pencil icons on your elements, and that'll bring up the little settings panel over here to the left where you have content, you have the styling tab, and you have the advanced tab, which is usually your spacing settings. So that's going to wrap it up for this video, how to use the Elementor plugin, how to build a WordPress website with Elementor. If you found value today, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel so that we can continue to pump out these videos and have you watch them and learn and grow your knowledge of building a website, marketing your website, and getting more sales to your business. So thanks so much for being here today. My name is Nick Foy, the founder of AskNickFoy.com and the YouTube channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video. All right, lastly, if you come back here to YouTube, you go to Nick Foy TV, hit that red subscribe button, subscribe to the YouTube channel so that you don't miss more tutorials like these. You can also check out other tutorials on how to build a website. I'll show you more about plugins, I'll show you more about the page builder using Elementor, and I'll show you more about different themes and different settings for your theme. So subscribe to the channel. Make sure if you enjoyed today's video, you hit that thumbs up button. That helps me greatly with the YouTube algorithm to get this video more views. And I appreciate your time today spending watching this video on how to build a WordPress website in 2021. Thank you.